We learn best when we take action. Forward motion is the best teacher. That's been one of the biggest macro takeaways from the last 2 years of interviews. You act, you observe the results, you learn, you adjust, and you act again. And this week, my guest is Dr. Thomas Rödl. Thomas is a very successful YouTube channel owner. And around this YouTube channel, he's built a significant business. I've known Thomas for a couple of years now, and I'm really excited to share his story with you. Hi there, and welcome back to Amplify, the Digital Marketing Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm Bob Gentle, and every Monday I'm joined by amazing people who share what makes their business work. If you're new to the show, then take a second right now to subscribe so you don't miss new episodes, and you can go back and grab some older ones when you're done with this one. Don't forget to join our Facebook community. Just visit amplifyme.fm/insiders and you'll be taken right there. So welcome along and let's meet Thomas. So this week I'm delighted to welcome my friend Dr. Thomas Rödl to the podcast. Thomas runs a business called Paperless Movement. Thomas, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and the kind of work you do, because it's not normal.
Yeah, the not normal is the new normal. No, I don't hope this will happen. So thank you very much, Bob, for inviting me to your podcast. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to talk to you. And I'm doing my best to align with your calm voice. And I heard a lot of other podcasts from you as well. Usually people align with this. However, I have to say, I have to say, I'm a Bavarian German, and we are pretty loud in general, so it will be hard for me to stay this way. So let's start to talk about what I'm doing there. You said the business is paperless movement. That's a bit confusing, maybe. So it is. Maybe the brand is the paperless movement, and the real business that is officially the business behind this is called Tom Solid Consulting. And out of this, I grew the paperless movement. And what I do is helping people to go paperless in the most efficient and productive way. There are a lot of channels out there on YouTube, for example, or websites explaining people what tools to use, what reviews to use, and things like this. And a challenge I'm facing also in my day job, where I'm still working for as a team lead in manufacturing IT in big pharma, is that new tools get introduced all the time, and people have to switch tools all the time. And most people still think as soon they implement a new productivity tool, all the problems are solved. And what I figured out on my journey on all of this is it is not the tool that's solving your problem. If you don't have a great workflow in place or conventions how to work in place in the first place, you won't find any tool that will help you out of this. On the other hand, once you have the right workflow and conventions in place, you can start looking specifically for the right tool that will match these conventions the most. However, I can tell you, most of these productivity tools have all the same basic principles that would usually work for all of them. Yeah, all right.
So a lot of what you spoke about there, it sounds to anybody listening from the outside as quite... how would I describe that? Technical. We're talking about business processes.
Yeah.
Now, what anybody listening needs to understand is you have a YouTube channel with 43,000 subscribers.
Yes.
So clearly there is demand for what you're talking about there.
Mm-hmm.
Who tends to be your... I mean, in YouTube it's quite difficult maybe to know who your viewer is, but in terms of the people that reach out to you, the people that engage with you, who are the people that are connecting with this quite technical mission of yours?
Yes, I made a very clear picture about this in the meantime. So I started 2 years ago with this, as you mentioned, on YouTube, and it started, maybe I tell you the backstory, and then it is easier to understand where my customer comes from. 2 years ago, I bought my very first iPad Pro and an Apple Pencil to replace my paper notebook at work completely, 100%. And I was using the iPad since the generation 1, since it was released for the first time. However, it never was at a state that it could replace the natural behavior you have when you have a paper and a pen there writing into paper. So that's why I never used this to replace anything. However, at a conference, I met somebody using this iPad Pro with an Apple Pencil. I was able to test it, and I was just blown away how fast technology became now. So it really can feel natural. And that's when I uploaded my first video to YouTube talking about the note-taking apps that I found there and the best way to integrate with other apps. That's very technical again. However, I will come to this. The thing is, when you start using the iPad and you have an Apple Pencil and you want to make notes, you are pretty overwhelmed when you go to the App Store and looking for the right thing, because there are loads of different note-taking apps. So I started making reviews about note-taking apps specifically. And as this was still a new thing, it was a good niche there to go in there. That's what I realized. So people related to this, and I was more or less at the same state as other people in the beginning, and I was just talking about my experiences with the apps, and this was getting some traction very quickly. So within 2 months or so, it was 1,000 subscribers, and I became more or less the expert for the note-taking apps part on the iPad Pro. And I realized this already. I'm really a data freak, so I'm looking into the analytics and all this. So for each video I published, I was looking what was good, where is the retention. So for people who don't know about retention, it means when will people leave your video. So you realize, okay, I was talking about something at a specific point in the video and those people leave. I know next time I skip this or I make it better or different way. That was when I was optimizing from video to video. Each video became better. I built up a studio in the background and all of this. So that was a natural way for me. And I was listening to the people commenting. And that's one of the most important things, that all I have now after 2 years was built by the community, more or less. It was just requested by the community. And that what I mean by this, I have my first video, I get my first comment requesting, could I do a review about another app? I did this. So it very quickly, I got so many requests that I couldn't do all the videos that were requested. So I started to get an average, what most people want and things like this. So it was all about note-taking apps all the time. And then I got the first request, is there any place where all the information is collected that I'm sharing here, which is kind of ebook. So that's when I wrote the ebook, but actually I didn't write the ebook completely on my own. I was the expert in note-taking apps. I was going into details there. However, I already hired a copywriter in this time because, as you might hear, I'm not a native speaker, but I wanted to ensure to deliver high quality content from day one onwards. So I had a website already in place, writing some blog posts, and I was in luck to find a really, really good American copywriter. She is doing an amazing job until today for 2 years now. And all I have to do is send her the links about what I want to talk about, and she goes really into detail. I know there's a lot of copywriters out there, if you go to Fiverr or whatever, or Upwork, where you can hire those people. I had bad experiences there as well, because people will realize the way I talk on YouTube and the professionalism I have there. And if some blog post is, there's no background there. So that's how I built up the content on the go. I was focusing on YouTube mainly. Another thing that I was building up on the website then still being in the niche about the digital note-taking apps for the iPad Pro. So that was my customer, people who were taking notes on the iPad and wanted to know how to do it the best way. I made this ebook. I got my first collaboration with Paperlike, which is a screen protector for the iPad Pro, which makes feeling it writing on paper, gets it as close as possible this way. And I introduced a note-taking app comparison table on my website. So I allowed the people to come to the website and choose the note-taking apps they're interested in and see directly the features next to each other. And this just brought a lot of traffic to my website, because there are a lot of comparison websites out there already, but none of these were looking into note-taking apps. So that was my luck. And I just realized this on the go, because I wasn't doing this because the trend was there or something like this. I was doing this because it was requested by my customer. So I had this ebook, I had this website with the comparison table, and I was keep going with the YouTube channel, all related to note-taking apps. And in 2019, I already had, after this 1 year, things just showed that this is a real business there. So in 2018, in January 2018, I earned my first 218 euros in a month. And end of 2018, I earned 15,000 in a month. So that just shows a good exponential rate there in increasing the business. And people say, when they asked me then, you know, all the people saying, when I mentioned that I earned my first 18 cents per month, most of people were laughing around me, yeah. Because I'm still working in a high position in Big Pharma. I'm good paid. And if I tell people I get 18 cents for 10 hours of work into this video and things like this, then they just laugh. But I always had this goal in mind to build up this passive income. And to have a passive income, you have to make an upfront investment. And my answer was always, this video will work for me 24 hours from now on onwards, forever. Okay, so in the end of 2019, I earned a lot more. And this obviously doesn't come from YouTube ads. I think I had around 10,000 subscribers, not even maybe, in 2018. So it can't be only this. And people are now really interested in my surroundings. How do you earn money for this? And I think people here will be interested as well. How could you increase the income that way as a side hustle?
Well, I think absolutely. And I think it's a lot of people assume with a YouTube channel that your revenue is YouTube ads. And certainly anybody that's very superficially looking at YouTube as a business, they'll instinctively think ads, but there's just, it's a very long road if you want to make your money from ads. So what sort of revenue streams did you build around all this visibility?
Exactly. So right now in 2020, the YouTube income from the ads only is between 600 and 1,000 euros per month. It is good as a side hustle, but it is obviously nothing you can live from or you can rely on. And that was the first thing that I was looking for, to build up as many funnels as possible to make the whole business stable. I don't want to rely on one income stream. So to tell you the story how this developed, the first one was ad revenue when in 2018. As I said, it was just $10 or something per month, and increasing the more videos I have, and depending on the date of the year, obviously. For example, on Christmas, more people searching for iPad note-taking apps, things like this, then you have more or less income. So there's the ads in stream. The next one was that after a few hundred subscribers, the first sponsor requests came in. And I don't like to be sponsored. Sounds stupid, but I knew already back then with these few hundred subscribers that they know that I'm a really honest person and I'm just having my heart on the tongue, as you say in English, isn't it? So I was telling what I think about the product, and I want to keep it this way. So I saw, for example, this paper like I mentioned before, the screen protector, and this was on Kickstarter because I was looking for something to make it feel more like paper. And I reached out to the CEO from this company just in the beginning, and I said, okay, can I test it? And he said, sure. He sent it to me for free. I didn't want to have any money or something like this. And I tested it. And then I saw, okay, there's interest. And then I reached out to the CEO again and said, all right, is there a way to have an affiliate link? Because I really like your product. I like your spirit and the customer support you have behind this. And this just matches with my own business. So I want to have a collaboration with you. And he said, sure, we can look. And luckily, funny enough, I was the very first affiliate. He just built up the affiliate system with me as the first person promoting the product. If you go to YouTube now and you look at these iPad Pro things, I think in any iPad Pro review videos you see there, even from the big channels, they're all promoting Paperlike now. That's funny to see the journey there. However, I was able to make a good rate there to get affiliates, and it was really worth it. So very quickly, the Paperlike became one of the higher income streams than my the ad revenue from YouTube. But it goes from there. Obviously, I was looking into other ways, which is then most people mention on YouTube when you look how to make money on YouTube, talking about affiliates, links in general. So I already explained now that I reached out to a company directly, built up this affiliate link. But if other people think about affiliate links, maybe just Amazon comes up as the typical thing for affiliate links. So obviously I built up this as well, but the income wasn't very high. Obviously, it really depends on the amount of views you have and the likelihood how many people will go to Amazon. So that was not a proper income stream. It was around 20 euros a month or something, while I had already several hundred euros per month just by having this Paperlike collaboration. And the other affiliate thing back then was with Apple. As I was promoting, or not promoting, but reviewing a lot of note-taking apps, I had an affiliate link to the App Store. And if people bought the note-taking app, then I would have get a commission for this. And it works for Amazon and Apple back then as well, the same way. You get commission for whatever they buy then. If they come in from this affiliate link and they buy, I don't know, jewelry for their wife, then I will get revenue from this. And that was a great opportunity. However, so very quickly, I built up another funnel with this Apple affiliate link, where I implemented it into my comparison table. People were comparing, they found the right note-taking app, they clicked on the link and bought it from there, so I got the commission. On each YouTube channel I had this, and then suddenly in the middle of 2018, Apple decided we no longer do this. That was insane. I was at already $600 per month only from Apple, and from now and then, from one day to the other, it was closed. So they're no longer giving you money for anything there. Now it's only for books and music, but not for apps at all. So it was okay for me because obviously I was still working full time and this was a side hustle, but I realized very quickly all these comparison websites, they are solely depending on affiliates from Apple. It's insane. They were bankrupt, not bankrupt, what is it? Well, their revenue stream was zero from one day to the other. And this made me even stronger in my beliefs that I need many more funnels than only one thing. So now we learned in 2020 now, the same happened for Amazon. They decreased their commissions for the affiliates, and there is loads of affiliate link based websites relying fully on Amazon. And if you have a living standard built up with this and this goes away, then you're really in trouble. So that's the reason why I further concentrated on my own products. So this ebook, for example, I didn't publish it on Amazon. I published it on my own website, and that was the moment when I set up for the first time my own online shop to have some way to sell it. Because two things, I knew it was very high value for many people out there, and I couldn't charge this on Amazon, because Amazon is also you shouldn't charge more than $9.99, otherwise they take a much higher cut from your income, and the same is for lower than $2.99, I think. So that was the reason why I said I want to also make money with this. So I sold it for, what was it, $35 back then, the ebook on my own shop, and it was insane. I mean, I had a channel with, what was it, I don't know, 4,000 subscribers back then, or even less. But I made so many sales with this ebook that I saw, okay, this is a real business behind this, and I want to dig deeper into this. And I had a shop. So it was going from there. I had these affiliates in place. I had the ad revenue. I had the ebook selling very nicely. And then we coming close to 2018, the end of 2018. And then I got contacted by a guy sending me a digital journal. For people who don't know what this is, it is just a PDF file that you can import into your note-taking app, and you can start making notes in this. The advantage is that you have a calendar where you can just click on the different dates, and you can jump to this date, to the daily view, and make your notes for this date. So it's an interactive calendar, which is the best to compare with a normal paper calendar you're used to, but with the advantage that you can jump around by a click of a button inside this calendar, and your notes become searchable. And
can I stop you there?
Yeah, sure.
Because I've bought a couple of digital journals in the past, and what you're describing isn't what I had.
All right.
I had a straightforward PDF with no interaction at all, and I found it very frustrating. And I didn't even know what you're describing was a thing.
All right.
It sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Actually being able to click the calendar and jump to the day, I'm sold.
Yes, that's really that's really the thing. Now, what you are saying there, as I said, this was a guy who built this on his own and sent it to me that I should review it. Then I thought, okay, that could work, because this guy was focusing on executive version of this journal, so you could use it in meetings and things like this. Because if you know this maybe as well, Bob, if you go to Etsy, the store where you can buy all this stuff, there's loads and loads of these digital journals, and you're right, not even many have these interactions, but it's quite common now to have these interactions in place, and that's why they sell so nice, because people, and that's what is the selling point right now, so many people in an older generation, I would say now, are used to have their paper calendars, their paper-based journaling, and all this. And what I can do now, this is the entry point for these people to become paperless, because I can tell them, you don't have to change anything. You have your workflows in place, fine. You can just buy the digital journal. You can keep going as you did before, but with the advantage that your notes become searchable and that you can jump around in your calendar whatever you like. And even the searching through the notes is, in my opinion, the higher selling point, because just imagine you're writing down some keywords on your daily things, and all you have to do is search for it again. Do this in a paper journal. So that is really the thing. What I did then, I looked at this, and it was a black and white version. It was okay, and I knew what is behind this to develop it. I understood this, and I said, okay, that's great. Let's make a test, because he was selling it for $2 on Etsy already, and he wanted me to review it. What I did then, I said, okay, you can put it on my shop, but you have to take it away from Etsy, and we will sell it for $10, and he will get $3 out of it. So, which is the $1 more than he was doing on Etsy. He hasn't had any fees to pay as it is on Etsy. And I said I will make the marketing behind this. And that's what we tested. And it was just blowing up. So, I mean, in the terms of the small community I had, it was blowing up. So a lot of people bought this and they were really happy with this digital journal. And I thought, no way. Because if you have a look at this, pixelated pictures in there and things like this, I said that's not the quality I want to deliver, and I can do this better and even much more complex than anybody out there could do this right now, or as it is available right now. So I looked into a lot of other digital journals. I bought them, I looked in this, and I realized, okay, these are really people building this together. There are really great versions out there as well, no doubt. But I thought, okay, I know that my people in my community are upper management, CEOs. I realized this already from some comments and seeing the people there on LinkedIn reaching out and so on. So I said they are looking for something not fancy, not something like having flowers and pink and things like this. They need to sit in their management meeting and look good with their journal. And what also happens that I had in mind already, when they're sitting there making notes in their digital journal in this upper management meeting, other people will ask, where did you get this from? So what I did, I sat down and created my own digital journal using PowerPoint, and it took me about 2 months to finish the beta version. And that's another crucial thing in the business I'm building here, that in anything I was doing so far, my community was involved from day one onwards. So I said, I will build this, and then I pre-sell this. I said, I will build this, and it's people just buying it. There was nothing there. It just puts the pressure on myself to really finish it. And I see that there's a commitment from my community that they believe into me, because they saw already that I delivered the ebook. So I created it, and it was a lot of work up front. And then I started the beta phase with all the pre-orders. And they gave such valuable feedback that I rearranged a lot of things in this digital journal to match the demand of most people in this beta phase. And then I launched it in December officially, and then I made these 15,000 euros from this launch with my little channel I have there. And you know, the traffic on my website was, what was it, 4,000 people per month maybe, and that was it. The email list was 500 people, but it was the word spreading now, because people were using this digital journal. And that's when I realized, okay, that's another funnel I have to follow up on. Sorry about this when the story becomes lengthy now.
No, I mean, that's the whole, you're doing a fantastic job of telling the story. I mean, I don't have to ask you any questions. You know where to go. It's great.
All right, Bob, thank you. So then I will keep talking. And I can talk a lot, believe me that. So I launched this, and it was really insane how this worked out. And the most important thing is that I knew that is something long-lasting I'm building here. I'm not trapping people into something and making short revenue streams. These are people following me since day one and spreading the word. And I had this journal there.
I think, like I said before, you've done a brilliant job of telling the story of going from starting a YouTube channel because you had an interest through to what's now a really solid business.
Thank you very much.
I'm curious to know, along the way, I have a few questions. I've made some notes as you were talking, and yeah. I think what I'd like to know is, one thing, when you meet, I'm speaking to the listener now, you meet somebody who comes across as very competent. You're a doctor.
Yeah.
You've put in the work. You know a lot. You're very competent. But I'm curious to know from you, throughout the last, it's really 3 years that you describe, which part of your business have you struggled most with? What's been the hardest for you?
That I still have a day job.
Right.
That was always the thing. And and I have the typical entrepreneur syndrome, or I'm not an integrator, I'm a creative. So that's my struggles. I sit down, I have a walk, and I come back with 5 new ideas that I want to follow up directly. And that's what I did over the last 2 years, following up a lot of routes going down there. And the problem is, in parentheses, most of those things that I started worked. Okay, so it might sound stupid now, but that brings me into a situation that I'm I have a coach in the meantime. I just started this year getting a coach to help me out with this, to focus on the things now. And we just realized in these 2 years, or 2.5 years now, I built up 5 different businesses that could run on their own. And that's something I really realized now, and I'm still on my own. I have this copywriter, and we come to this in a moment. I have a developer now for the newest product again. But I realized, okay, I have to do something about this. But maybe we come to this with focusing and losing focus. If I keep telling the 2019 story, we finished 2018 now. Okay,
you go ahead.
I know you had other questions.
Well, the next question I had, I guess it's maybe more for what comes more recently, but I guess I will ask the question. It really comes to, YouTube is obviously your comfort zone, or at least it is now, but YouTube doesn't exist in isolation. There's a whole constellation of social media platforms out there.
Mm-hmm.
Of all of that, where do you find you get the most engagement, or where do you find your audience actually lives?
All right. What I did very early on is trying to spread the word on all the platforms as much as possible. So yes, YouTube was bringing in the most traffic, and it is no longer really the case. I just realized that a lot of is coming from Google Analytics right now. Why this is, we come to this maybe later, but just saying that I implemented very early on in this business automations to leverage my content. So as soon as I published a YouTube video, it was published on Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, those typical channels. And talking about Facebook, what I also started very early on in 2018 was a Facebook group. And I realized a lot of people going in there. So it was easy because they already converted. What I also put in place was asking questions. Why do you join? Where did you find this Facebook group? And what devices are you using? So I know a lot about these people coming in there already. However, Facebook doesn't make it easy to automatically track these data. So, but I knew most of them were coming. I saw you on YouTube, and this changed now as well. People writing, the Facebook group is shown on Facebook, so it was recommended to them. So this switched now as well.
Right.
I was trying to get on all these platforms, but there was not a lot of traffic coming from this. It was just showing up on all the platforms, so people become awareness and get the feeling that I'm really famous, or how do you want to call it? Yeah, exactly. So YouTube was still the traffic source.
No, I was just having a quick look at the Facebook group just now as we were talking. It's 2,500 members. I mean, that's a good sized Facebook group.
Yeah, thank you. In the beginning, in 2018, when I started it, I think within 1 year I had already 1,000 members in this Facebook group, and it's now a lot less coming in there because I stopped promoting it on YouTube. So this was obviously, as soon as I started something, I was mentioning it in each video. But if I hate, well, there's something I really hate about a lot of videos when people sit there and keep promoting their new stuff. I really focused on bring it in naturally and in the most natural way possible. And the best example is the digital journal designer, because it just fit into my niche. I was reviewing note-taking apps, and there are some note-taking apps not supporting digital journals, for example. And there are note-taking apps supporting this. So as soon I was showing a note-taking app supporting a digital journal, I was using my own digital journal, obviously. And I just mentioned in a side note, if you're interested in this digital journal I'm using here, the link is in the description below. And then I keep talking, but I don't take a lot of time talking about this, because this will drop your retention. That's just it's just in my case. Maybe for others it's different. Yeah, so I always tried to build up on what I already have and try to find products that fit into my niche. And it's the same with the sponsorship. I got a lot of things from China that I should test, and I said, no, I'm not doing this. That's not the quality of my channel. And it goes from there. So yeah, we are still in December, 2018 at this point.
Okay, well, I'm going to let you continue the story now. So what happened next?
January 2019. Let's do this. A lot of income from this was going on. And the collaboration with Paperlike was very great, because I was able, during the Christmas time, to sell the Paperlike on my own through my shop. So I built up an automation, so everything was formatted, and that was a great time as well. Talking about the Paperlike, I have to go one step back, because I missed one funnel here, or one thing that I tested out, and maybe your audience might be interested to hear about the experience I had there. So far, I implemented a lot of digital products that I was selling, and like for the ebook, charging $30, you get most of the money. There's nothing you have to have a warehouse or something like this. So having this good collaboration with Paperlike and a lot of people loving the product, I said, okay, why don't I sell the Paperlike and get a bigger chunk of the price of Paperlike? And we tested it. I bought 200 Paperlikes and I got 50% of the profit of the price. No, it was profit. And then I was sending this away on my own, and he's selling worldwide, and it is insane. It is insane. Sending this away, then you get a request, where is my Paperlike, and all these things. So I started to realize what really is behind this. And you really can just build up this if you have a proper team, and you have to focus on a lot more when you're building up physical product distribution than I had to do with the digital product distribution. And that's when I said, okay, I sold these now. I made, I think, 3,000 euros out of this. But I thought about the time investment I had in the end. This was in no relation anymore. And it is nothing long lasting. There's no passive income. I have to actively send these things away. And for the ebook, you write the ebook and it will just sell on its own over time. So that's just a side note here, that I tried to go into the physical space as well to send these things away. And I realized, no, I keep the affiliate links. That's fine. The time I'm saving, I can focus on my own stuff. That's good. The experience to have. Germany is really the worst if it comes to sending away globally. I realized this as well. But Germany in general is really a bad place to live when you want to be globally successful and selling into other countries than Germany its own. That's a whole nother story when it comes to my tax lawyer. I told him about my thing.
What I really like there is a lot of people would have looked at that 3,000 euros and gone, well, it's 3,000 euros. Yeah. But accepting actually the return on investment there, it's much better in the digital products. Let's not be tempted down this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's a very, very smart move.
I absolutely agree, you know, and I understand that many people say, what is he complaining about 3,000 euros? The thing is, what I realized is, as I mentioned before, I was building up so many different funnels and ideas following up, and this was so demanding that I wasn't able to grow in other ways and in my other things. So I was so focusing on sending out these paper likes and things like this. And obviously, if I would have gone down this road, I could have automated things, but I was just too early in my own business to be prepared for such a big step. And I didn't want to invest or get a investor or something like this to get this off the ground. So yeah, that's just, you're right. It really depends on how you look at it.
So I guess we should probably continue along this timeline now. You decided not to do physical products. Distribution was just a nightmare.
And this was just before publishing this digital journal. I just want to mention. So this was then the next product coming in as a digital product. And then we are in 2019. So I thought, all right, this is a good thing. It was really successful, and it was only positive feedback coming back. And people were suggesting new features in this digital journal. So I was collecting this information. And as it was a one-time creation for 1 year, so this journal could be used in 2019, I had to build this again into end of 2019. So over the year, I was collecting the information. People were still buying it. But what I realized very quickly, obviously, like you would buy a paper calendar, the most sales you will do in the beginning of the year, isn't it? Or maybe getting to the end of the previous year. So I very early on had in mind two things. I have a lot of work to do creating this. There's a very high failure rate. You can do so many mistakes when you're building this on your own manually. And I need a way to automate this and generate this journal on my own. On the other hand, I saw another opportunity because I thought, okay, but there are many people creating digital journals and selling them. So what I did next was building an online course, show people how I built this digital journal, and sold it with a much higher price than the digital journal was. So I sold it for 140 euros, I think, and pre-order again, gave 2 months for pre-order before I deliver. And again, a peak in income after I just mentioned that I will do this online course. And it is building up because I was so consistent with the quality that I put out there, and I can be very confident that the quality is high because I was seeking for the feedback from the community to ensure that the quality matches their expectations. I was going on, and this just accumulates because people expect already, like for Apple or so, people say, okay, it will have a certain level of quality. And what I also did, that's something very important to mention maybe, all the time, as soon as I published digital products, I was adding 100% satisfaction guarantee and 100% money back guarantee, no matter what. No questions asked. Well, obviously, I want to know why they don't want to have it, but this is maybe many people say that's a very stupid thing to do when you have a digital product. It's a PDF file. They can just use it and distribute it and share it with many other peoples or even sell it on their own. And you're even giving them the money back. However, I trust that most people in this world are honest, and that's what I just confirmed. I sold in these 2 years, I sold more than 2,000 of these. No, in these 2 years, it's 5,000 of these digital journals, and I had about 5 refunds.
Yeah.
All right. So it is people. If I'm not able to offer the satisfaction guarantee, then I think you are not confident enough about your own product.
I think actually that's a key difference between if you buy a product on Amazon, you're buying it from Amazon, you have no relationship, or at least unconscious relationship. Whereas if you buy it from the paperless movement website from Thomas, it's a very different transaction. You're buying it from Thomas. You don't want to, and if you're part of the community, as most of your customers will be, they're not going to come back and make themselves look bad.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good point you brought up there. It is the personal brand that I was building around this without even knowing. Then I went to I was looking a lot of things watching a lot of things like Pat Flynn and Chris Duckers. And then I went to the Upreneur Summit in London, and that's how we met as well, Bob. So that's really when I realized I was doing this because I knew I can't talk to people in my family or friends. I mean, my wife is really interested and very well understanding and let me do all the stuff I want to do. I'm really fortunate there. However, I think many entrepreneurs know most of the time you're sitting alone in your dark room and working on this like a like a little hacker sitting there thinking about all this. But I'm dreaming big. And you were talking about my doctor. I can tell you a little side story here. When I was going to school, the teachers always kept telling my parents that I will never be able to get a proper job. I'm just not intelligent enough. And that was going down the route. I never visited higher education that would allow me to study afterwards because teachers didn't believe in me. In fact, my English teachers, I really get the lowest grades in English. I was the worst student when it comes to English. So now I made a PhD in Manchester, UK, and wrote my PhD thesis in English. What are you saying no there? Yeah, so that's really the thing that I always had my parents who believed in my abilities, and now I also have a wife who believes into all what I'm doing, and it's so important that you have people who don't stop believing into you. And it goes down the road. I always wanted to go to Big Pharma after I studied after I finished the PhD. I wasn't able to join the big industry because people said, you have been an academic for such long, you don't have experience to work in there. Now I'm 7 years in industry because there was again one person who believed in me. And I was able to improve the team performance of the team I was working for by 60% with the same headcount. So this brings you very fast to the upper management and awareness there, and brought me up there as well. So I could have gone this, I'm still going this route in my day job, but now having this own business on the side and implementing the things that I was doing for other people, I really come to this point where I think work on your own dreams, otherwise people will hire you to work on theirs, or something like this. There's a saying, isn't it?
That's exactly the saying. It's So I think what a lot of people don't understand, and I think you've kind of hinted on it a lot of the time, but your side hustle, so to speak, is actually generating more revenue than most people's actual job. At what point are you going to say, okay, and maybe you don't want to say because maybe your day job is listening, and that's fine. But at what point would you naturally say, okay, you know what? I think I need to stop the day job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to say because I'm really in a situation where the income from my side hustle is even with my income from the day job. And I'm working in Switzerland. It's a really high paid job there. It's not as easy to say. If I would live in Germany and working there, I would have quit 2 years ago. Or maybe 1 year ago, because I would have earned much more than I was earning there. It's not as easy as this. Obviously, we have a house here and I have a family to feed and things like this. I don't want to bring them into too much struggle. However, when I finish the story until today, then you will realize that I have too many things in place I'm working right now on, that I can't keep doing this for more years to come. I have to make a decision at some point.
Okay, well, let's carry on with the story then.
All right. So yeah, we were with the online courses, and people actually bought it and started to build their own digital journal, the way I built my digital journal. And I realized there were high-rated podcasts talking about my digital journal. It was insane, and I realized that NodeShelf reached out to me. They wanted to promote me on their website and their blog. So I made this. We even arranged then that in NodeShelf, if you go there, if you have this note-taking, that's a note-taking app on the iPad, if you don't know this. Inside the app, you can download my journal now. And you can test it there as a demo with a link back to my website. So I have a collaboration inside one of the most common note-taking apps. That's obviously bringing in revenue as well. Paperlike, I swapped positions. Paperlike is also now promoting me in the other direction. So with this digital journal, it was a great thing to be. And I was at podcasts and things like this. So this was going very well. And now people maybe think, like for the 100% money back guarantee, how stupid are you to do this? People say, why do you do an online course showing exactly how you build your digital journal, which is so unique? You're giving away all your background. And I said, I tell you what, I heard a story about a guy who was, what is it in English? Those guys helping you selling houses if you want to sell your house.
An estate agent.
Oh yeah, real estate agent, exactly. And the story about this guy is that he wrote a complete guide. He wrote a complete guide about describing how you can sell your house on your own as a private person. And all his colleagues said, are you insane? You know, why should people even hire you then if they can do it on your own? And you're even giving it away for free. The thing is, people downloaded this and they realized how much work goes into this, doing it properly, all these pitfalls there and all this, that they had two things coming up. One is so many mistakes that could be done. And the second is, this guy must be an expert because he wrote all this. So he got much more hires this way because people knew he knows what he's talking about and they don't want to make the work. And that's the same with the online course. People bought this, paid me to get the online course. Then they realized so much work going into this. I come back to him and he should do something customized or something like this for me. And that just worked out as well in this online course route I was going down. And on the other hand, it was my first test drive to publish online courses in general because it was something I wanted to follow up. So there was something in the middle of 2019 going on. And then I was doing YouTube videos in 2019. And then I realized, okay, I want to have a membership website and get my people out from Facebook and have all the committed people where they can reach out to me and things like this. And then I learned in all these sessions that don't build everything on your own. I was very experienced in the meantime doing WordPress websites because I relaunched, I have to mention this as well, over the 2 years I relaunched my website 6 times. Because each time I built my website, I figured out new stuff and then I wasn't happy enough, it wasn't looking professionally enough, so I relaunched and built it from scratch all the time. So, but this brought me into a position where I really know how this stuff works. But nevertheless, I thought, okay, I have to work on this online course and I want to launch a membership site, and people really want this because I reached out to the people asking if they would be interested in this. That was actually out of a survey, because what I kept doing is always sending surveys. I was using SurveyMonkey, for example, for this to collect more data about the people who are in my community and actually about the paying people, because that's something you have to differentiate as well on YouTube. a lot broader audience will watch your videos than the people who are actually buying from you.
Yeah.
A lot of students watching my videos, for example, and they are not interested in buying an online course, how to build a digital journal, for example. And another experience out of this was talking about other platforms. I started a giveaway where I was giving away one iPad, and people had to, like Twitter and follow me there and blah, 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 and sign up to my newsletter. Yeah. So what I got there is 5,000 email subscribers on my newsletter and a few thousand on my Twitter account and things like this. Gave away this iPad. People were hyped. They were happy they was doing this. And then I came to realize, what have I done there? Now I have 5,000 people in my newsletter list, people who are looking for free stuff. Obviously, because where they're signing up to these challenges and all this to get free stuff. People like the typical Apple customer, they don't care. They just want to have a quality product. So that's what I realized. So what I did, I went into the email list. I said, I will delete the email list. If you want to stay on this email list, please tap here. So it triggered a tag that is they want to stay. And I deleted it, and I ended up with 1,000 newsletter subscribers out of 5,000.
Well, that's still pretty good.
Yes, it is. And it is highly conversional. My conversion rate is, at sometimes when I'm launching something, it's 50-60% of this email list. And I think that's insane. And the opening rates and the ratio to unsubscribers, this is really high quality email list I have there, and that's why it's so important to have a look at this. But along the way, all I'm telling you here is I answered every email I got. I answered every comment I got on YouTube, every reach out on Facebook, Twitter, I personally answered. And that's what Chris Ducker is preaching about as well, this personal branding. And that's really important. And all the products I'm promoting, they have the same mindset. That's so important, because when I'm sending them over, for example, to Paperlike, they're selling a physical product, but you have a 1-year money back guarantee. People would say, how insane is this? As soon you apply the screen protector, it's broken already. You can't send it back. But it's the same thing. It's the same approach. There are not many want to have a refund because it's a great product. So being in 2019, back to the online course and the membership site, I sent out this survey asking my people, how do you want to get delivered the content the most? Or what would be most appreciated? And people were saying YouTube, and I always try to get a drop-down list. Never put in a free text thing, because with a drop down and they have a multiple choice, you can much easier analyze your outcome afterwards. I realized people also want to have a membership website. There was one answer I provided there, and I said, okay. Then I was scrolling down where I was asking what industry you're working in, what job title, and then I realized, CEOs, upper management people. Companies more than 30,000 people. And I thought, okay, I think that's a good niche to build a membership for. And I started to look into who could build this, what platform. That was a complete new area for me to add a membership site. And I have to mention here that in the meantime, I had one website, which was the shop on Shopify. I used this platform. I had my blog, which was paperlessmovement.com, or still is. And I had Thinkific I was using for the online course. So people were already living on all three platforms, spread it all over the place. I had to build up my own automations. If they buy in Shopify, they were able to buy the online course in Shopify, to sign up automatically in Thinkific, all this, but I lost track as soon as they joined the blog and things like this. I knew already at this point membership site, yes or not, doesn't matter. I have to bring everything together in one domain. That was one goal anyway. However, I thought that's a good opportunity to start from scratch again with this website. And I found BuddyBoss as one of pretty common thing for many people to do. And they offer to install you all this stuff, and they have their own platform with a lot of functionality and things like this. And I said, okay, I will invest 10,000 euros into this while I was creating the online course. And they have a lot in place, how they provide you with help, and you have a own product manager and developers and blah, blah, blah. And I spent my first it's paid in chunks, yeah. So 5,000 euros here and 5,000 euros there. And I know that I can be really annoying for people like this because, I have a clear picture in mind what I want to have in the end, and I really try to provide what I want. With the membership site, it wasn't as easy as I didn't know what it really should look like in the end, but I realized they just installed plugins. I don't want to blame them for them. They're doing a great job. They're really polite and things like this. And I'm sure if you are not a techie and if you have no idea and what they delivered, that was a good website. There was a solid website there. However, I had in mind a lot more complex stuff. So I spent this already. There was no refund policy. And I said, okay, I have to sit down, do it again. 3 months were already lost. I had still to do the online course. And we were coming into the end of the year where I have to create a new digital journal again for the next year. And I knew that will be an income stream and the December sales coming in. So that was a big challenge last year, end of 2019, to focus on all these things. Obviously, I delivered, and I realized I came to a state where I started to promise to my community that I will deliver something, and I was no longer able to hit the deadlines or deliver what they expected. I mean, I delivered what they expected, but it took me much longer than I was promising. And also in my day job, it becomes more or less demanding over time. That's just unpredictable.
Yeah.
So it was a hard thing, but I wanted to get this membership done because the idea of having all the people in one place, away from YouTube, away from Facebook, all on my, again, Chris Ducker there, never build your house on rented ground. This is something I just said, I want to accomplish this to make the whole business complete, more or less. So I built this up in November, and I said I will launch a membership site. And it was a lot of less, or not much of sleep in this time. And then I sent out a newsletter. There will be a membership site. You can go to the alpha testing now. It won't be perfect, but we have to test it in some way. And it was still working on this BuddyBoss platform that I customized then. And they went in, and the first thing I realized when I made this launch, my payment wasn't set up right, and everything went into zero. Oh. So they paid for this. They went into they got registered, but the payment wasn't going through in PayPal. So now we come to the point where it is so important to have such a committed community by making it by filtering it. I reached out to these people and I said, I'm sorry, there's a mistake. Can you please sign up again? And you know that this will give a big drop in conversion to get all the people already signed up to sign up again and pay actually. But 95% signed up again and paid. And most of them paid in 1 year in advance, but there was not much there yet. But they had the trust into the brand that I built there, that I will be able to deliver this eventually. And this gives you such a boost to keep going with this. And the whole December, I took off from my day job. to have the chance to focus on my business and get everything straight. I built a digital journal in this time. I built this membership site, so it was stable more or less. I had to get things straight with my tax lawyer because we still have to hand in the stuff from 2018 and 2019 to date. It's still not finished because in Germany, a guy doing all the stuff as I do in a digital world, selling all over the world, that's a real problem. That's not many people doing this complex way. So I spend a lot of money for the tax lawyer already so we can set up this. And this guy is already a paperless tax lawyer specialized in e-commerce and things like this. So I'm even talking together with the CEO of Fastbill, which is an accounting software in Germany, who develops now own automation just for me. So we can get the taxes straight.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. So there was a whole new construction site coming up there that I have to work on as well. And all is this in December. However, I managed somehow to launch all this, and also the digital planner. The issue with the digital journal was this time I didn't do a beta test. I just launched it because I thought, okay, I rearranged the old digital journal because I had it already, and launch it again. That was a bad idea because just after launch, a lot of people found bugs inside this. So if you clicked on whatever 10th of October, it was jumping to April. Things like this happened then that I didn't realize would happen. And obviously on your own, you can't properly test all these different situations. So I still was working on this digital journal for one more month already in January, and this is a no-go because people obviously want to use it in January already. And the worst thing about this, it is not an app. In an app you just optimize it and you launch an update or something like this. Here, if I launch an update to the digital journal, people who already wrote in the previous version can't bring their information to the new version. So they have to start from scratch. And it was crucial that I get this done as soon as possible so that I don't lose as much notes they already have taken as possible. I figured it out, and this just brought me to the thing in 2020 now. I really need an automated way we can rely on to create this digital journal in a proper way. I'm working 2-3 months on this digital journal. It sticks on my mind. I was thinking about different things like getting in VA, training him, giving the course that I already created, how to build this digital journal. I thought, okay, but still a manual process. We have to have quality management back and then. Then I was reaching out to several agencies asking if they could build this. They say, yes, for sure, give me 10,000 euros and we make an MVP. And I was sure I wouldn't get what I was looking for in this MVP, and it will be a much more upfront investment there. I met people who are really interested in the idea that you can make a lot of money by simply a PDF, working for informatics and agencies who wanted to partner up. But I quickly realized they have not the right spirit behind the whole thing. And then I suddenly met an old friend I was going to school with, and he's a very professional developer for big companies now. And I told him the story about this digital journal and how good this was selling. And he instantly grasped the idea how he could build this. And I was openly talking about this because I knew, first of all, it will be hard for anybody to build it the way I was building it. And the other thing is, they had no funnel to market it. And that's a problem of a lot of SaaS software as a service companies. They're building a great product, but they have no sales funnel in place. They have no marketing. They have no community they can share it on. So they have to spend a lot of money on ads or things like this. But this was the argument. I'm the part of marketing, he's the guy who is programming it, and we make 50-50 on this only part of the digital journal. He will do the technical support, I will do the marketing support and things like this. And that's how we made a contract and started working on this. I implemented for the first time, as this was the first time doing teamwork in my company, the tools I brought into my day business in the teams where I increased the efficiency. I implemented this on my own business now. I was so happy to be able to do this now. And within 2 months, we published the MVP, which is in closed beta right now. Right after launch, we sold 150 pre-orders for something which is not published yet. That's really insane. And the feedback is incredible. People love it because that is exactly the thing what people say. They go to Etsy. Now we come back to the beginning. They go to Etsy. They're looking for the right journal, but there's always something missing. And as I collected all the things people want to have from my journal, one easy example, some people want to have lines to write on, others want to have gridded. So that's one of the features. People can now go in and click their options together, landscape, portrait, gridded, lined, all this. And that's already enough as a selling point. The most important thing is, here I look into the future, and we build the framework around this in a way that we can make an app out of this and, go from onwards there. And that's where we come to the situation. This is a business on its own already. I have the membership side there, which is very successful as well. We have the YouTube channel, which lacks of content right now because I had to focus the last month on all of this. And I'm at a stage now where I try to stabilize, automate as much as possible, and to build up a team over time to really get the whole thing to the next level. Just number-wise, in 2019, I made my first 6 figures out of this business after 2 years. And that's where I know now I'm still increasing income each month compared to the previous year. However, it's not going that fast as it was going before, because I'm on a limit as much what I can deliver. And that's really now the breaking point where I say, okay, I need a team. I know now exactly workflows that I can outsource in some way or form. And I saw already with the work with the developer how good quality products you can get out when you have somebody with his own genius zone, and I give away the things that I'm not as good and just complementing each other. And I took the marketing part very seriously now. So I switched from Active Campaign. I had a lot of automations going on there, to Intercom, which is giving me now or closes the loop of the customer journey. It's incredible the way I can see my customers right now and the automations I have in place when people, because I had to find a way with getting the support tickets in now from my digital journal to really understand who this is. And now I know, as I migrated everything to one domain now, everything is living on one database, my online courses, my online shop. I'm also selling merchandise, the ebook selling, all this, and the membership is all one user registration there. And it makes it really easy as soon he starts writing in the chat to me to see where he was, what he bought, what value this customer is, and so on. And now everything clicks into place. I was looking for Intercom a year ago, but it made no sense back then. Having the journey of these 2 years, I told you now, brought in all this, the understanding why I need all these systems in place to get to the next step forward and to automate things. That's... I could go on forever with this.
I bet you could. I think, well, you kind of bring us up to date, and you've told such a good story, and I was really happy to just let you roll and tell it.
Thank you.
Because I can't imagine you trying to tell that story in 30 minutes. It just wouldn't be possible.
Okay.
But it's such an interesting case study for anybody listening, because any business, it isn't an event that just happens. There's a very long process behind any business. Mm-hmm. And yours is such an unusual one in many respects, but so achievable in many others that if you have an idea I think one of the things that really strikes me in your business is that you learn when you move. You don't learn by standing still and having ideas. You learn by executing. And it's the constant feedback loop of trying something, seeing what happens, learning from it, communicating about it.
It is
listening.
It is the Scrum approach, isn't it? It's not a typical project management thing where you set a goal and you try to reach it. I was being agile, to use the new terms nowadays, and adjust, but without even knowing. I never trained myself this by reading books or something like this. It was just naturally happening. So yeah, it is exciting times. Yeah.
So I guess we should probably bring things to a close quite soon, because I'm looking at the dial and we've got 1 hour 14 minutes. So I'm trying to decide right now, do I spread this over 2 parts or do we just keep it all in one? I'll worry about that another time. But one of the things that struck me when you were talking was I didn't realize that this was a digital journal designer, that I could design my own journal. I thought it was something, as you were speaking, that was just going to automate some work that you had to do every year. But actually designing your own digital journal, that's a whole different value proposition.
Exactly.
So how much does it cost to buy your digital journal now?
Well, right now in the pre-order, and that's the thing. We would need another hour to explain all the funnels and things I have in place right now. For example, a member gets 50% discount of all the things they buy in my shop, and it is $24 for the pre-order, and it will go up to $49 as soon we launch it. However, that's not a fixed price, because and I have to go back to the digital journal right now. The digital journal is no longer just a calendar where you can jump to different days. It also has now a project manager in the back of the end where you can jump to certain projects. You have a to-do list manager in there. You have, I can go on, but what I'm talking here, not everybody needs all this stuff. But for now, people had to buy it. Anyway, if they need it or not. And it is more than 470 pages, this PDF, and people had to import this into their note-taking app and things like this. With this new designer, they can just select what they need. This also makes the price dynamic. So I can catch the people who say, I would buy it, but I don't need this and it's too expensive. Now they can just say, I only want to have daily pages, for example, or only a week calendar, which is only 10 pages long, and they will pay for what they want to have. And another price model that we will start end of June, the official launch will start of this. The price model will be that people can customize their own digital journal once by paying one time. However, the feedback I received so far, is there a way that I can build several journals? So obviously this would become much too expensive. I will, for this reason, offer a yearly subscription where people can buy a yearly subscription and build as many journals they want to build. One more thing to mention in this regards, there's some companies interested in this digital journal. I have one CEO who forced his leadership team to buy the digital journal to use. All of them use this. So that was also an inspiration for this digital journal designer, because what you also have in there, you can customize your designer the way you want it. You can change the color. You will be able to upload your company logo to make your personal white label branded, company branded digital journal that you can distribute to all your people in your company as the one single source of truth, or how do you want to call it. And this is this will become, if you choose these options like customization, it will become much more expensive, obviously, the more you select there.
Well, I have lots of ideas, but I think that's something we're going to have to take offline.
Yeah, sorry.
No, obviously my speculative brain is rolling full of opportunities here. So I guess what I would probably sum up with is, I guess, if people want to get in touch with you, how would you like them to do that?
Yeah, as I integrated Intercom now, simply go to paperlessmovement.com and there will be a chat window. You can just write me. Maybe I won't be online right now, but I can follow up on all the messages I'm receiving now as soon as possible.
And one question I always try and finish with, which normally I give people a tiny bit of warning, but I forgot with you. What's one thing you do now that you wish you'd started 5 years ago?
Nothing. I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be going on like this if I wouldn't have had the experience all the 2 years. If I would start with this, what I'm doing now, I would fail.
Okay, that's a great answer. So, Thomas Rödl, thank you so much for your time. You've been ridiculously generous with your knowledge.
Thank you.
And yeah, I can't wait to hopefully see you again in person soon, once all this nonsense is finished.
Yeah, sure. Can't wait too.
Thomas is a great example of serving first and selling later. He doesn't hustle his audience, he gives them value, and they reward him by telling him what they want. There were a ton of lessons in the interview for anyone that was paying attention. I'm going to have to go back and listen again, so don't be proud if you have to go and do the same. There was that much gold in there. Before I go, just a quick reminder to subscribe, and if you haven't already, then join our Facebook group. You can find a link in the show notes or just visit amplifyme.fm/insiders. I would love to connect with you on social media. You'll find me wherever you hang out. Just search @BobGentle. And if you do, let me know and I'll follow you back. And more than ever, I would love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's very early days and every subscription means so much to me. If you enjoyed the show, then I would love for you to review it on iTunes. It means a lot to me, and I don't say that lightly, and it is one of the best ways to help me reach more subscribers. My name is Bob Gentle. Thanks again to Thomas for giving us his time this week, and to you for listening, and see you next week.